Call on recording. Okay, great. So Biswas says could not understand how to balance with pattern, texture, shape, and color in small space. How to create big illusion with these elements. So first of all, Biswas, you don't have to use everything. If it is a small space, you need to be very cautious. So either if you are using pattern or a texture, so texture is a altogether different thing. Texture is like what whenever you are touched or you see something wherein you see the different kind of feel to the surface is a texture. Now a lot of people get confused between the texture paint, which is like repeat of a pattern, maybe a square or a rectangle or circles or something which is put together, which is repeatedly put. Okay, and that is not texture. That is actually a pattern which is made with the paint. But in local language, a lot of people go ahead and say this is what is the texture, right? So that is not a texture. Second thing, what I talked about is the pattern. Now, what do you mean by shape? Shape is nothing but a form, right? So form is your furniture and color in small space. So color definitely, if it is a small space, you need to use a brighter color or a lighter color, right? You cannot just go ahead and use something which is dark blue, gray, black, or maybe dark brown and all these colors, because that makes the room look smaller. Now, how to create big illusion using the elements is simple. I don't know. Someone just posted in the group saying that with the horizontal lines you can make things look wider. Now I have, you can see on the back side I have two zebra blinds, right? Now these zebra blinds are like horizontal lines. Why I have put this? Definitely for a couple of reasons. One is when someone walks into my cabin looks wider. That is one thing. And second thing, my entire cabin is done with a pretty same like off white and white color combination. And I have a tabletop which is black that you can probably see it here. And I have a cabinet which is behind, which is again black. So this two blinds adds little color to my place. So I've used color as an element and I've used line as an element which is horizontal. So makes my space look wider. Okay, so that is how you use it. Yes, Biswas, I got the demo that you have a kid at home. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so that is how it is like not exactly the illusion you can call it. Yes, but definitely you can create that difference into the space. That is number one. And how you use colors? Yes, colors you need to use depend on the space. If the natural light is also coming less into the room, you need to be very cautious of what kind of color you are throwing on the wall, or what kind of furniture, or what kind of upholstery, and the curtains and drapes and all you are using. One more question from Biswa says, when it comes to L-shaped living space, okay, without having windows, oh my God, okay, I can understand how to balance. I can't understand how to balance their texture, pattern, color, lines to create harmony in space. So this was everything you cannot use everywhere. Like, don't go ahead and put everything like texture, pattern, color, lines, and then you want to create harmony. So you need to understand that harmony is something which is like a single tone kind of interior, right? Once again, I think that some people are just putting things into the group. So I just close the group and ask them to join the call. Okay. So, and if it is a L-shaped space without window, I'm not able to visualize that how something can be like that without window. I'm not sure. But if it is something like a without window, I'm sure there must be at least on one wall there must be a big window or something wherein the light is coming in. And if even if there is a window which is that is the only source where the light is coming in, go ahead and use the lightest stuff wherever possible. Okay, so that is what one thing that you need to do. And lines and all that, I don't know why you want to create use that, but first you need to see these elements and principles you need to understand to prove your point. Something which is not there, like let's say suppose even if it is, Even if it is a form that you want to go ahead and use it, you need to understand that where it is fitting well, keeping the proportion in mind. So then you can decide that what kind of texture and pattern you want to kind of put, in case if you want to make it room look taller or wider, or maybe you just not necessarily taller or wider, but if you want to kind of create an emphasize on one of the wall, wherein you want to kind of create a major depth or something, or maybe kind of you want to use it for a background. So when you kind of design entire space, then you can probably pick up something. But first is what aligning the forms, which is like your furniture, and understanding the overall space, right? So space is one of the element which you need to understand, that what is the space you have available and what kind of furniture you can just go ahead and put it based on its requirement for that particular space. Someone is anonymous. He has not put his name. He said, I didn't get that how all elements blend and result a perfect interior is. When I go to one element, I'm stucking in other one. Please elaborate this. Okay. So, Mr. Anonymous, I don't know who is this person. So you can just put your name so that I know, and I can call your name and go ahead and answer. Now you don't have to blend all the elements here in the interior. So there are different styles of interior that we pick up. Now there is a modern, there is a contemporary, there's a classical, there's a Bulgari, right? So and there's a white interiors also. So based on what you want to do and what your customer wants, and there is something called as bright and bright interiors also. Some sort of a peppy color, or maybe the primary colors is used and all that. So based on what you want to do, on that basis, you don't have to blend all the elements and principles. First of all, why the principle is used? Principle is used to balance the space by doing the layouting stuff. So once you do the layouting, that time you can go ahead and probably use the balance and all. And in the moment you enter, what kind of rhythm you want to give, where you want your eye to go from, right? So based on that, you can just go ahead and use the rhythm, but you don't have to necessarily blend all the elements and principles. Proportion definitely matters. So this is not blending, like proportion and rhythm and scale and all will or your balance and all will never blend. Only the elements will probably the color and the texture, or the colors and the pattern, this can get blend. So texture is something wherein let's say suppose if it is a sand texture, or if it is something like a cement texture. Okay, now the cement is primarily gray color, but if you want to give a texture of a cement, in that also you get a rough and smooth. And you want to go ahead and put some different color. You want to give a sand color to cement texture, you can do that. You want to go ahead and put yellow color because you want to kind of emphasize that wall, you can go ahead and do that. So it is not the blending, but you need to understand that what you want to do that. And then you carefully pick up any of the element and go ahead and put that. Okay. Okay, so okay, Viswas has another question here. Viswas says, suppose a bedroom is 10 by 10, having floor to ceiling wardrobe, but it makes wall to wall space narrow. How to avoid this limiting limitation using this element? So if it is a 10 by 10, someone said something. Okay, I'll just go ahead. This was if it is a 10 by 10, and if you're going to put a wardrobe, the wardrobe depth is 2 feet. The moment you put 2 feet wardrobe, you're left with only 8 feet. Now, in this small space, I would suggest that you don't do much. But if you are okay, if your clients are okay, what you can do is go ahead and put mirrors. Okay, you need to use some pattern or something which is like a mirror, or maybe a wardrobe can be mirror, wherein you make the room look bigger. Alternatively, when it comes to the color, go for the lightest color. Go for the reflecting colors. Right? So there are even in Asian paints and Berger, you get a paint which makes the surface reflecting surfaces. So your light gets reflected better into the room, and your room looks bigger. Okay, so that is how it is. And then Harini says that my doubt is that does the balance principle applied even for ceiling design, just for only for furniture? No, everything, Harini. even if it is a ceiling, wall, furniture, curtains, everything. So you must have seen that some of the curtains that you see, that you have put a drapes on one side, but other side if you don't put a drape, it is going to look bad, right? So it has to be balanced by a symmetry. Unless and until you are thinking of something different and you are not kind of going for a asymmetrical stuff there. But otherwise, as far as the wall ceiling or curtains or furnitures or anything is concerned, even the paneling, you got to have this kind of principles applied for your entire design. So principle doesn't only apply to your layout, but it applies to everything that you do. So whenever, let's say, suppose for example, TV unit that you are designing, now that TV unit can be asymmetric or can be symmetric. Depends on your layout. Now, if you want to put your TV right in front of the sofa, and on the left hand side, suppose you don't have a space wherein you can put something, but on the right side there is a space. So you go ahead and put some tall unit or something of that sort in the design. Then it becomes asymmetric. Then you have to see that asymmetric design, how is it looking and how is it going to look. So based on that, you can just go ahead and use it. But yes, you have to design, you have to apply the principle. And even if you not apply principle, knowingly or unknowingly, whatever you do, it will be definitely out of this one of the principle, that I'm very sure of. Prithvi Krishna says, could you please explain a little about color temperature of lights and how to choose the right color temperature? Okay, Prithvi, this is very interesting question. Because I'm a lighting expert, so I kind of have inclination towards light. So lighting has a temperature starting from 2800 to 6500. It goes little lower also and it goes little above also, but the general range people use in interior is 2800 to 6500 Kelvin. Okay, it is measured, the temperature is measured in Kelvin for a light. Now what happens when you use 2800 Kelvin? 2800 Kelvin is the yellowest color that you get. Okay, and 6500 Kelvin is the whitest color that you get. Now, when I say white color, in the earlier days, we used to get a tube light. Now, the tube light also comes with a multiple colors and it has even comes in the color changing format as well. But the regular tube light we used to get in the olden days used to be white, and a lot of offices use this white color lights. So that is like a very pure white color light is 6500. And then generally in the jewelry showroom that you see is a yellow light, which ranges from 2800 to 3000 or 3500 Kelvin. I would suggest that in residences you can just go ahead and use something called as daylight. Now the daylight term has a lot of confusion. Some people call 6000 or 6500 white light as a daylight. Some people of 4500 or 4000 Kelvin calls it as a daylight, right? So I always say that go for the temperature number. And in the residences for my projects, I use 4500 Kelvin, which is not yellow, not white. So it makes the room look nice and warm. Okay. Thank you, Prithvi, for that question. Okay, we have one more question. Suraj Kumar says, as I'm sales manager working for a home decor company, and my major is mechanical engineer. Okay, thank you, Suraj. As you just how to learn interior designing as a fresher, what course to take first. Okay, Suraj, so anyways, you have taken the course. But you know what? This course is not only going to cover up everything about the interiors. This course is like kind of I've balanced it, wherein anyone who is a existing professional in interiors or someone who wants to become interior designer like you. So that something I cannot cover everything in 5 days. So there is a concept is taken, then there is a marketing. So some of the people who are already interior designer and kind of serving customers, for them, how they can build a visibility, how they can get a more customers. So that is there. Then there is I'm going to talk about the how you can go ahead and use the tools wherein you can do the designing very faster. Now the people who are not into the interiors, once we go on to the day 3, you will understand that how quickly you can just go ahead and take that tool wherein you can get a faster designing stuff. And then definitely the sales. Even if you are the world's best designer, but if you don't know how to sell, then you cannot make money. And our idea is to make money, right? So it is again, the fourth day is all about the sales. that how you acquire a lead, how you nurture the customer, and how you sell them to your sell them your services, product and services. So it is like complete, overall package wherein you understand that where you are kind of lagging at this point of time, and then you can just go ahead and tweak that particular thing and develop yourself every day. But if you want to develop everything overall, then yes, you can just go ahead and start one by one. So, in which course to take? You have already taken this 5-day WhatsApp class. Just go through it. We'll talk on the fifth day and let me know how do you feel. And then I'm just gonna, suggest you something ahead of. Okay. Thank you, Suraj Kumar, for that question. Someone has again not put the name, but he has asked, "Hi, sir, can you explain the lighting techniques which can elevate the aesthetics in design?" I just explained, or am I just reading that message again? No. Okay. Okay. So I just explained that you have a light ranging from 2008 to 6500 Kelvin. So you can just go for residences. I would prefer 4500 Kelvin. And how you can elevate the aesthetics in design is by putting different lights. When I say different lights, you need to create a depth in your interior. If you put four panel lights in four corners, it is just going to give you a very flat kind of a lighting. Now, this flat kind of a lighting is going to kill your entire interior. So you need to have a combination of a panel light, which is kind of a general light, which gives you a overall light, which is very useful when you want to kind of a clean or something, when you want a very bright kind of an environment. But when you want to create the depth, you can just go ahead and use some of the spotlights, some of the wall washers, some of the indirect lights, some of the table lamps, hanging lamps, and this kind of stuff, right? So that is why it is important. And if you want, I can just go ahead and give you some of the link wherein I have in detail walk on some of the lighting stuff, which I can just give you and you can watch. Okay, great. So one more question is again that there is no name. It says I have seen some interiors and exterior elevation which all will be basic during daylight, but it looks great during night. Okay, so you know why it happens like that, interior and exterior? Because you need to understand that daytime we have just one single source, which is sun. And anytime when you have a single source, light, it just go ahead and floods everything. Whenever it goes and go ahead and floods entire space, it looks flat. But night, what happens? You have a multiple source, and these multiple sources are put at a different spaces. It has a different intensity. It has a different colors. And when you have this kind of a stuff, you definitely get beautiful aesthetics when you see it at a night time. Elevations are also, they put some of the lights on the elevations, and the, that is the whole idea of putting lights so that the building looks beautiful at the night time, or the interior looks beautiful at the night time. Daytime, if you put switch on the light, you'll have to probably go ahead and put the curtain so that you still get a beautiful lighting in the daytime. But I would still suggest that you need to use something in a daytime wherein you enjoy the daytime interiors also and the nighttime interiors also. Okay, thank you for that question, and I just love that question. Okay, so okay, thank you, Ashik. Okay, you are there, right, on the call? I think I just saw you. Okay, so one more question you're saying, while designing an interior, do we need to consider the Vastu? Because two-third of my client asking the design and interior with Vastu complaint. Okay, thank you for this question. You know what? For you guys, I'll do one thing. I'll release one bonus video after this call. In that bonus video, you will understand that while considering the Vastu as a template, how you can go ahead and design the layout. What kind of thing you can keep in mind when you want to design something, keeping the Vastu in mind. So just go for that, which will talk about what kind of doors are permissible, where you can put a wardrobe, how the kitchen triangle will work, and how the kitchen also Vastu needs to be taken care of. So that one video I'm just gonna release after this call, and just watch that, okay? And you'll understand everything about the Vastu. Something that you don't understand or something, you can just go ahead and ask me. I'll get you more information on that. Guys, just 1 second, okay? Okay. Sorry for that. Uh, my teams were leaving, most of them. They just wanted me to check if I have office key or not. Otherwise, I cannot lock the office and go home then. Okay. Someone has sent me messages in the chat box, says, so would like to go back to work after long break. I will I get a job. Okay. So Shakila, you says that what is like to what it's like to go back to work after a long break. Will I get a job? So I'm not sure. You have taken some sort of a break, Shakila, and now you want to start the job again. So I don't know how. What is your prior experience? But definitely, once you take a break, I'm not sure for what you took a break. It can be your personal reason, anything. My wife also took a break when she delivered babies, and then she started working again. So when you start again, only one thing that you need to keep in mind, that you need to understand what you were before. Get that confidence back. Get that confidence back. World has just moved little ahead of you, because at that point of time you were like kind of in your pit stop. You were taking pause, and the world was still moving. So you just need to understand little bit that what is that little change has come in the world. Get your confidence back, and you will get a job. I don't think that someone who is self confident will not get a job. Now here, when I say self confident, what do I mean? Self confident person is someone who upgrades himself every day. So whatever I am today, I may be the best version of myself, but today if I continue to be the same, then I am not self confident. Then I'm like the same old person. So I need to upgrade myself, like how we upgrade the app of our phones or systems, operating system and all that we upgrade, right? We get 1.0 to 2.0 and 3.0 version. So we need to have the best version of ourselves. So Shakila, just go ahead and make best version of yourself, and you will get absorbed in a job if you are looking for a job. Okay, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. And is there are some more questions in the chat box? I'll just take that quickly, and let me see what is. Please share us some useful links for Vastu. Okay, so Pooja, one video, anyways, I'm just going to release in the group. Okay, after this call, so you can just watch that. And I'm not sure about other links, but you can definitely go ahead and explore on YouTube, and you will find multiple videos on YouTube for a Vastu. Ashik Mohammed says, while my answer is disconnected, can I access the Zoom live recording? Ashik, you will get a Zoom live recording, so don't worry for that. Which software you use for end-to-end software for interior designing? Okay, so Pooja, software is like you can use SketchUp, you can use 3ds Max, you can use AutoCAD for complete end-to-end interior design. Okay, now, okay, we'll just go back to Slido, and where were we? Okay, we while designing consider Vastu. So I said that I'm just gonna release video, and you can watch that. Tejasvi says how to explain the client for best impact. We need to talk technically or informally. Okay, okay, Tejasvi, you know what? Just got to wait for maybe day 4. We are gonna talk more on the how we create impact on the customers, and little bit we are just going to talk tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going to talk about the marketing, right? So I'll just park this question aside because it is not related to today's topic. But yes, just if you're specifically asking this question, you're just going to love this couple of videos, like the day 2 and day 4, because that is where you'll understand what mindset you need to carry and how you can just go ahead and leave that impact on your customer. You don't have to be technical, because technical probably customer will feel it like a jargon, right? So you don't have to be technical, and how you can be informal, that you have anyways written a word. So being informal. So you need to understand the technique of being informal, which we'll talk on day 2 and day 4. Okay. So Tejasvi, if you are on a call, great. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and watch the recording. One more anonymous says, sir, my question is about play school interiors. So I want to know about the way in which the color of interior should be furnished to make it look good. Okay, so color is, again, you need to balance the color. It is not something that, one particular color will look good. There are a lot of factors like the amount of light coming in, what are other elements, what is the height of the room, what is the size of the room, how many entries, what kind of furniture is coming in. Based on that, you can just go ahead and use the color. Not necessarily using too many colors also make room look beautiful, or using less color also makes room beautiful. Okay, and Prithvi says, how okay is it to mix mid-century and contemporary themes in one project? Okay, so Prithvi, mid-century. If you are asking mid-century, I think you are asking about bit of kind of classical stuff, right? Wherein it was not actually classical, but a lot of classical stuff was used, and sofas used to be with the sleek legs and stuff like that. So you can go ahead and use and mix this. It is kind of a fusion interiors, but you need to be very careful and kind of need to be more research oriented approach when you are designing that. It can give you a different flair to your project, and it can be a strength, right? It can be a strength when people feel something which is refreshing and new, and it is not the repetitive stuff. So you can go ahead and do that, but just be very careful that you don't completely get into the contemporary, and then you feel that some mid-century furniture or some element is brought and put there. Or so you'll have to understand where to use what. Okay, and do some little bit of research on that, and I think it is a good idea to do that. Thank you, Prithvi Rathod, for that. Okay, and currently someone has asked, currently I am designing a boys room 12 by 10 with subtle color laminates. Okay, so I didn't understand your question. Your question is below. But the client wants to put his existing bed in the room, which is a dark walnut polish. Is it breaking the room's harmony? What to do? Okay, so if the room you want to design, which is a boys' room, and want to kind of you have picked up something which is specific color, which represents the boys' room. Okay. Anyways, the colors I don't see it is a blue color, is a boy color, and pink color is a girl color. I'm wearing a pink T-shirt right now. Okay, but still, if you want to kind of use and give that one particular color theme, and you think the brown is kind of breaking your harmony, you can go ahead and convince the customer. Before that, just go and visit and see what bed it is. If the bed can be painted by spray paint by animal or a dupe or something, and whatever color theme that you are using or harmony that you are using, and you can repaint the bed. Customer can reuse the bed also, and even whatever you want to do with the interiors and kind of get the elevated feeling. I think it is then gonna be the win-win for both of you. You can also do what you want, and customer also doesn't have that pain of leaving, throwing out that bed for no reason. Okay, so that is what you can just go ahead and check it out with your customer. And then we have one more question. There is no name again. It says, I have two questions. First is, sometime client wants to fill more things in tiny space. And how could serve max satisfaction in minimum budget, but if they want QT? Question two. Question two, what is the question two? Okay. So what I'm understanding is client wants to fill a lot of things in a tiny space. That is question number one. And question number two, what is the question number two? Okay, I'm not able to see the question. First, sometimes client wants to fill more thing in tiny place, and what is the question number two? I'm not able to understand. Okay, so if it is in a tiny space, if they want to fill a lot of thing, so what is it? Is it like a furniture they want to fill a lot of thing, or is it an artifact that they want to fill a lot of thing, or what is it that they are trying to fill? Your duty is to convince them that whatever you are trying, you are able to visualize probably. And it happens as a designer sometimes. what most of the time we are able to visualize how is it going to look. We know that it is not going to look good, or it is going to get screwed up or something. It is your duty that you just put it across to a customer in a right manner, in a better manner, that if we do this, it is going to look bad. And that is where your convincing power should be better. And you need to understand that whoever has a better energy wins the game. If your energy in convincing the customer is lower, customer is going to win. And then you will have to do what you generally don't like, and it is going to kind of make the entire interior look bad. So here you'll have to manage it, so that you give and deliver something which is better. And you have asked something also, wherein in minimum budget, but if they want satisfaction in minimum budget, but if they want it. So, you know what? Minimum budget and satisfaction. I mean, satisfaction is a different thing. I mean, it has got nothing to do with the budget. I have seen a lot of people who are with a big budget also, they are not satisfied. But some people with a less budget also, they are satisfied. So, what is it? You need to understand what your customer wants. The day you understand, it is not the interior requirement only. When I'm saying that you need to understand your customers, what they want, it is not only the interior requirement. It is about the experience. What experience your customer wants throughout the entire designing and execution process. If you understand and give that, your customer is satisfied. The budget is irrelevant. But if you don't understand, and if you don't understand what experience your customer wants, and even if it is like a very big budget project, customer is not going to be satisfied. So satisfaction and budget is two different things. Okay, great. So we have finished the questions. Anyone has some specific questions, you can just go ahead and shout out. We have another 20 minutes on call, so I can just go ahead and answer. Okay, so anyone has a question can unmute and ask me the question. Amit Kumar has put something in the chat box saying, what will be the choice for wardrobe, laminate finish or Duco finish or acrylic finish for long run? What will be the better for above mentioned queries? For long run, definitely the laminate works better, Amit Kumar, because laminate, what happens, it doesn't get spoiled. But if you're asking for acrylic, definitely there is a scratches gets developed on acrylic than the laminate. And Duco is definitely not suggestible if you are thinking for a long run, because Duco further gets dent or scratches. Pooja says, I'm facing issue at the time of site handover where the client is not willing to pay remaining balance, and how do you manage that? Okay, so Pooja, that is absolutely the process issue. So tomorrow we are just going to talk a bit about the processes, and day 4 we are going to talk about the processes, and day 5 we are going to talk about the processes. So once you have your processes in place, your money is not going to get stuck. In past, I also faced those lot of issues, but then I made my processes so strong, and then now it is, I'm not facing those kind of issues. Now, some of you, if you are not understanding what is process, you don't have to worry for it. Don't consider it as jargon. We are just going to go ahead, maybe on a day 4, you'll have a lot more clarity in terms of processes, that how you want to do it and how your money will not get stuck. Hemisha has asked something. What conditions can epoxy be used? Can you guide on it? Okay, so epoxy is a flooring, right? So you can just go ahead and use conditions, as in if you can just elaborate, I'll be able to help you more. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and use epoxy. Epoxy is used on the tabletop also. Epoxy is used on the floral also. Epoxy is nothing but some sort of a chemical, right? It's a there's a self-leveling epoxy also you get. And I'm into healthcare industry. I do a lot of diagnostic centers and hospitals. So hospitals, when we do OT, we go ahead and use epoxy flooring completely. Okay, and then Veena says, I am working on a play school and I want to know about the way in which the color of the interior should be finished to make it look good. Please tell me about the rhythm, color, ceiling, texture, furniture. So see, if you're going for a play school, best is to go for a theme. So maybe you can just go ahead and take one theme like a forest. Okay, one room is forest. One room then you can use like a city. One room you can just go ahead and use like a village. One room you can just go ahead and use like a what do you call it as a uh, I'm not able to understand. I'm not able to recall the word, but you can just go ahead and maybe a fair or something of that sort. You know what happens? The play group, when the kids are into that play group, this thing, they start seeing things, right? So they understand. Okay, this is tree or this is forest. This is bushes. These are planters. These are saplings, and all those things they understand when they go to the forest theme, or maybe garden theme in case if you want to make. City, when you make, they understand, okay, this is road, this is building, this is signal, this is shop, this is the police station, this is the medical shop, or this is the hospital, or something of that sort. So if you can design something around that, it is something going to be beautiful. Okay, if you make a village, they'll understand, okay, this is the well. You just have to go ahead and put something on the paint, in the paint form on the wall when you are designing something, right? So maybe they'll understand, okay, this is well, this is hut, or this is a small house, or maybe this is like a river, or this is like a pond, or this kind of thing, which kids understand and they love it. If you're making kind of a complete fair, then they'll understand, okay, this is like some sort of a carousel, this is some sort of a stalls where people get food, some sort of a playing stalls, and all those things. So if you put that around, so put your thinking process based on that. And if you want to pick up one group, so the moment you put a theme, you know what color to use. The moment you put a garden or a forest, you know the major is going to be green and brown, and the sky is going to be blue. If you put city, you know what theme it is going to be. It is going to be a lot of building things coming up. If you put a car somewhere, you can just go ahead and use some nice red color and yellow color or a blue color and all that. And maybe on the floor, you can just go ahead and put some zebra crossing. If you're using like a village, then majorly it is going to be again green and brown, because a lot of greenery can be shown around, some well can be shown around, which is like with a stone stuff, and then you have a hut, or maybe you have a small houses and all that, right? So play group, you can just go ahead and go for a lot of thought processes, and you can do it, right? So based on that, you'll understand what ceiling, what color, what texture, and what furniture. Everything will fall in place automatically just by picking up one theme. Rakshit says, is there any material other than POP to use for murals, false ceiling, something easier to work with? So the best thing is, go ahead and make the Ciporex mural is another thing, and cement mural. So what for cement, what happens? There is a molds available. Uh, with a specific mural, guys, they have a mold, and they just go ahead and pour that, and the complete mold comes out into the cement. So the using cement, sandstone also you can just go ahead and use. Oh, sorry. Why you are asking POP for murals and false ceiling? I mean, I'm just getting confused. If it is for a mural, I'm talking about. Okay. So sandstone also you can just go ahead and put a mural. But if you're talking about the false ceiling, there's another material called gypsum. You can just go ahead and use pine wood. You can just go ahead and use cane. You can go ahead and use veneer. You can go ahead and use metal, like MS metal with the powder coating and stuff. And then you can, in the ceiling, you can go ahead and use, you can even use back painted glass. You can use veneer. You can use Leuco paint. You can use MDF grill, lot of things that you can use in the ceiling, but you need to understand that what exactly you are trying to do by putting this material in the ceiling. Just don't put any material in the ceiling for the sake of putting that material, that anywhere, not for the ceiling for that matter, but anywhere that you are putting a material, got to have some story and reason behind it. It is not that, okay, this material is available or something has come new in the market, let's go ahead and put it because client doesn't mind and there is a budget. You need to have a story. You need to convince yourself first that why I'm putting this, what is the need of it, and is it going to add value to my interiors? If you understand that and all your questions are clear, go ahead and put that in front of the customer. Okay? Thank you. Shruti said, sir, I'm in. Shruti, I think you can just go ahead and complete your writing. What are 3D flooring made up of, Emisha? 3D flooring. 3D flooring, you know what? You can just go ahead and there are printable wall flooring. So you can just go ahead and print it and put it on the floor. So you get a 3D. And then there are other 3D floorings where again they go ahead and put those 3D printed stuff, and on top of that they put a resin. It's a clear resin that they put, and it covers the complete flooring. And whenever you see something below, you feel it's a 3D. So basically, it is nothing but a 3D printing on the vinyl. They put it on whatever existing floor and then layer of resin, which is clear resin. Okay, thank you, Ina. Uh, Biswas says, sir, will you please little elaborate different design styles? Okay, so anyways, it is going to be there on one of the videos. If you want, I'll just release it because there are different styles and it takes so much of time to I mean, it is not that quickly I can just go ahead and tell you, but I can majorly, there are three type style that people are using right now. One is definitely the classical, which is very few people use. If you are from Calcutta, in Calcutta or Kolkata, I'm sorry, in the Kolkata, a lot of people still likes the carving furniture and some moldings and stuff like that. So that is the classical. Second is contemporary. Contemporary is like very clean and neat and straight lines. And modern is little kind of a glossy stuff, and little bit of metal is used, more glossy surfaces. And again, very neat and more of a harmony interiors is on the lines of modern. Okay, so that is what three you can just quickly understand. And someone has asked, what is the minimum distance between RCC columns? Oh, that is the structural distance, this thing. So how do I answer you that? Because you need to understand that what is the span. If your span is 30 feet, 40 feet, 60 feet, building span, that depends. Now you can design some building because I'm into architecture also, so I can tell you. Now if you have something like you want to build a 60 feet span, you can just go ahead and increase the depth of a pillar or a beam, okay? And you can get that span. So here I am not able to understand that what is the maximum distance between RCC column that you can go ahead. I mean, I have seen maximum span of a column, which is again, so it is all depends on what you want to achieve. Have you seen airports? Airports, you have a like huge span. You even go up to 500 feet also, but you just put a column and then there is a complete trusses on the top and then we have a roof. So there is nothing like a thumb rule that what is the distance, maximum distance between the column. It is all about what is you are trying to design, how the layout is, and based on that, unnecessary you cannot just go ahead and put a lot of distance between the column, because whatever that then on the top you are going to put, it is increasing the cost. But if your layout wherein you can as closer you can put the column, it reduces the costing. So that is what I am understanding by your question. So I don't know, in the interior you are asking for interior RCC columns. I am not understanding why. Okay. Shruti says, I did my MTech in electronics branch. Okay, Shruti. But I am interested in interior designing. What are the basic softwares and things to learn to become professional interior designer? Okay, Shruti, don't worry for too much for the software. Slowly you can learn it. Wait for day 3. Okay, wait for day 3. Evening we'll meet up and then you tell me what have you learned and how are you feeling. Okay, so let's leave it for day 3. Uh, Amira Taneja says, what are the ways to highlight walls or how to create accent wall that are budget friendly? Uh, Amira, you know what? You can just, first of all, you can just go ahead and put some pastel shades. Behind me, where you can see the Ganesha is put on the top. So that wall is little sand pastel shade. Otherwise, my entire cabin is probably a more white cabin, okay, off white, I would say. So that is the first one that you can go ahead and put, so that you create that wall which is accent. You can just go ahead and put bright color also in case if you want to kind of create more vibrancy in that space. Second is definitely wallpaper. Now wallpaper ranges from 1800 rupees to 20,000 rupees a wall, a roll as well. So if you are looking for a reasonable options, you can go ahead and use some wallpaper roll which is like a 2000, 2500 rupees. And by that also you can highlight the wall. Another thing is you can highlight the wall by pasting some of the elements on the wall. Or let's say suppose if it is the entire wall, you can just go ahead and paint it something dark maybe Gothic grey, elephant grey, or something of that sort. And you can get 1 mm acrylic mirror is what you get. So you, let's say suppose 1 mm acrylic mirror, you get it a laser cut or laser cut in say complete petals, and then you are you are filling that entire wall with some sort of pattern in petals. It's going to look beautiful. Your entire wall will get highlighted, and then on that gray, the mirror, which is 1 mm acrylic, is going to look fabulous. So this is another. And you know what? For that one wall, if you're getting the acrylic 1 mm acrylic mirror get cut, it is going to cost you some 3-4 thousand rupees, and maybe just one wall paint is like not that expensive. So by even keeping your budget in mind and kind of control, you can just go ahead and highlight the wall, which is I think is a budget friendly, sorry. And alternatively, you can just go ahead and use, I don't know where that wall is. If that wall can take some of the planter boxes, what you can do is you can just go ahead and take 12 mm pine wood. So maybe a couple of sheets, if you take one sheet will cost you somewhere around 12 mm pine wood sheet will cost you around 3,500. So two sheets will, or maybe depends on the wall size, one sheet or two sheet. So you can take one or two sheets, cut into the 3 inches strips, which is like 3 feet, 4 feet like that, and put it in a staggered form. So one strip is here, one strip is here, one strip is here, one strip is here, and like that, you know. So something like a staggered form, you can just put it. So pine wood is like a complete, very light shade of a wood. So background again, you can just go ahead and put something which is darker, which is complementing rest of your interiors. And put that pine wood. On the pine wood, you can just go ahead and hook some colorful planter boxes. In that planter boxes, you can go either you can go for artificial or you can go for natural plants, and you can make the entire wall highlighted beautifully if that wall can take the planter box there. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mira, for that question. Omen says, I'm planning fall ceiling with gypsum in residence. How much time will it sustain? Okay. So if you don't deliberately break, or if there is no earthquake, if the building is not vibrating or something, nothing happens to fall ceiling. You can just go ahead and paint it again and again. And maximum I have seen that, almost like in 2005, we did one project and it got renovated in 2015. So it doesn't happen anything to the gypsum. It's the only thing people get bored, and or maybe they leave that premises, someone else comes, or if they continue to stay, they go ahead and change the design. So that is where it gets replaced before it actually gets scrapped. So nothing happens to fall ceiling women. Prithviraj says, hi Tushar, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm planning to start interior design studio in near future. It would be great if I could get some pointers from you, and what are the must-haves to start new business in interior industry. Prithviraj, you know what? Just watch tomorrow's video. You're gonna love day 2 and day 4 and the conversation on day 5. And you come back to me on probably day 5 and tell that how are you feeling, and you'll get 100% clarity on how you can start your interior business. Okay, there are some ways wherein we can collaborate and work together. Okay, there are some people from Mumbai, Bangalore are working with me from previous batch, and we are doing projects together now. So that's great. So that is the idea of building this community, guys. Wherein I don't want to limit myself to only Hyderabad. I'm a Gujarati Mumbaiite, and I'm born and brought up in Mumbai. I passed out from LS Raja School of Architecture in 2010. I moved to Hyderabad, but I'm doing good projects here. I'm doing mix of commercial projects, which is only related to healthcare because that is my niche. We'll talk about niche tomorrow. And residential interiors also I'm doing. I have two companies which are running. So now I'm getting associated with a lot of people like and you are like kind of ground warriors, and then we are working together and growing together. Okay, so Prithviraj, you're gonna love tomorrow's day, and probably day 4 and day 5. Okay, so hang on. Thank you so much. And Veena says, I have 10 flats and all are same space like kitchen. All are same space, shapes like kitchen, bedroom, drawing room. How could I do different in all? Okay, Veena, you know what? You don't have to worry. If you have a 10 flats, I'm sure it belongs to the 10 customers. So the customers are different, the tastes are going to be different. You don't have to worry. Ask them what they want. and just go ahead and deliver what they want. It is automatically going to be different from each other. Okay. And anyways, you learn that how to take the requirement from them and how to understand their psychology and stuff as we progress, so that you can just go ahead and rock. If you have 10 flags in hand, it's a good number of flags that you can work on. Okay, the modules will change here and there, but otherwise, you can give the different flair to it. Unless and until two people are not going ahead and talking together and then they are discussing designs and coming back to you. Otherwise, they'll have a same mindset and the same design discussing you, and then even you cannot help. Pooja Gupta says, what is the delivery durability of gypsum board? So we just discussed that about gypsum board. Amira says, thank you. Thank you, Amira. How to coordinate curtains with my wall color? Okay, so can I just know your name, because F53FD114. It looks like some flight number. So if you can just tell me your name, or you can rename yourself. Otherwise, it looks like some abroad flight, F53FD114. Okay, so coordination of curtains with the wall color is not with the wall color, because most of the time what happens, the wall color is lighter shades, and one of the color which we kind of emphasize and kind of make highlight of one color. You need to understand that, let's say suppose the entire living room is kind of a off white, okay, and behind the TV you have gone ahead and put some little dark gray, okay, because your TV unit is complete white and all that. I'm just imagining one wall you have which is like a kind of a teal, where you want to kind of highlight and stuff like that. Maybe the family photographs are coming there and all that stuff. And then how do you manage the curtains, right? So you have gray, you have white, and you have a teal. Now with this, definitely the yellow looks good. Now that doesn't mean that you go ahead and put entire yellow curtain, but the curtain that you're going to choose can have the lighter gray shade or a lighter off-white shade, and it should have a tinge of teal, yellow, and gray. If you put these three things together in your curtain, if you're going for a floral or geometric or anything, if you put this thing together, maybe yellow, gray, and a teal, the entire curtain is going to look beautiful, and your entire space will coordinate together, and your curtain will not only coordinate with your wall, but it will coordinate with all your forms, which is like a sofa and all that. Now, if you are using sofa, go ahead and put a lighter shade of gray, because as I just imagine that you have a wall which is off white and a gray, use of gray and all that. So go ahead and use sofa which is a lighter gray, and then throw some loose cushions, which is maybe if you are using 5 cushions, go for 3 cushions which are yellow and 2 cushions which are teal, matching to the wall color, so that your curtains also looks good and the entirety comes up very well and nice in terms of colors. Okay, thank you, Omen. Okay, your name is Kratika. Okay, I'm so sorry because on the screen it says Omen. But anyways, Kritika, thank you so much for that question, and I just loved answering that. Okay, guys, so that was a fantastic session. I just loved answering any one of you. It is already 8 o'clock. We'll just go ahead and end this session. Before we end, if anyone has a specific something to ask, please go ahead, unmute, and I'm going to answer, or otherwise, we'll just go ahead and end the show.
Hello.
Yes, please, Tejasvi.
Yeah, I'm very new, as I told you earlier. I was very new to this interior. I want to know the different materials available for interiors and all. Can you share some links regarding that?
Different materials you want to understand, right?
Yes, what all materials will be using? Like in wood, so many materials will be there for cupboards, for cladding, for
Yeah.
flooring. We
So
have,
I'll
right?
just give you a quick thing about the material. So when we are using for the furniture, so you need to understand what is the natural material and what is kind of what do you say? Sorry. Okay, so something which is natural and something which is not natural, or maybe something which is kind of constructed, okay, which is artificially made. So natural material is definitely your hardwoods, veneers, and hardwood and veneers, right? And there are what else? I mean the wood logs. Okay, so these are like natural materials. But when it comes to the man-made, is like your plywood, your chipboards, your bison panel, which is wood plastic composites and all that. And what we use is majorly we use plywoods and to cover the plywood because plywood looks dirty when it is used as it is. So we just go ahead and put laminate. Okay, so this is laminate on top of the plywood. In laminate, you get different patterns and different colors. So you get solid colors like all the colors you get, and when it comes to the pattern, you get lines, you get what do you say, some sort of a pattern, or you get a wood pattern, you get a different colors. So you can just, what you can do is go ahead and watch one complete catalog of laminate, and you'll understand that how many shades that you get just out of one catalog. And then there are like you'll find 10, 15 catalogs in one shop. So just go ahead and do that little bit of research. You'll understand that what is majorly used. Then on top of that, there is a chipboard and MDF and all that. Chipboard and MDF is what, it is a MDF is like there is a dust which is kind of mixed with the resin, and dust is a wood dust, okay, and then it is mixed with the resin and it is compressed. Chipboard is again chip. It is a specially grown trees which are kind of, when it is cut, it forms into the chip, and those chips are again mixed with a specific resin. It is compressed and made into the sheet. These chipboards are again comes either raw or it can come with a pre-laminated. That is why it is called as a pre-laminated particle board. Now, when this raw, if it is raw, you can just go ahead and put your laminate on top of that. Apart from that, MDF, you can just go ahead and do PU paint. You can use animal spray paint. You can just go ahead and put Duco paint. You can put acrylic on top of that MDF or plywood, or you can go ahead and put some of the lacquered glasses on plywood and MDF. So these are the finishing material which is on the base. Okay. So this is just an overview about what material they just make. You can just go ahead and put something research on the field. You can go to the shop, understand it better. The more you see, the better you understand. So if you really want to kind of learn something, I'm anyways helping you out. But you need to keep your eyes open, go for a lot of stuff, see it, and then learn.
Hello,
Great.
sir.
Yes, yes, Kritika.
Sir, I want to ask one question.
Yes,
Sir, what is the main principle that a designer should keep in a mind while designing
balance.
and matlab while interacting with the client?
Balance is more important because if first is you need to use the balance. Either you go for a symmetric or asymmetry or radial. That is the first thing that you need to use, and then you can just go ahead and understand based on the customer psychology where you want to give that. You want to use the principle of harmony, emphasize, or what is it? So balance and scale. These two principles are we should not leave. So you need to use balance very very well, and you need to use scale very well. So if you use this, if your balance is perfect, if your scale is perfect, your more than 70% job is done. Your site is definitely going to look good, and then definitely rest of the thing, the principles and elements will take care of.
Sir, the main problem we face while designing, matlab while working on the site is like if you take one retail project, the site is very irregular and we want to create a harmony, a balance. And how do we manage without doing paneling?
So is it going to be a shop in shop, or it is a single shop for a retail?
Single shop.
Single shop, right?
Yes, sir.
So see, retail shop is very simple
Sir,
to
because
design.
we have
What you
less
need to have,
space, we have limited space for planning, like
got
the
it, Kritika.
standard stands.
Yeah. So see what happens. Retail space has a harmony. Sorry. Yes. What I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. So retail space, what happens? You have a walls, right, around.
Yes, sir.
So you just need to go ahead and put a wall, your wall panels, wherein your entire fabric or whatever the merchandise is going to be get stuck stacked, right?
Okay.
So that happens on the wall. Center, what you have to you have to make a space for aisle, and then your gondolas in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Now, when that is how the retail space planning is happening. So where you are not able to kind of harmony. The moment you put a complete wall panel, your wall panel with the shelves and either waterfall and all that on the wall panel, harmony is created, because that is what you see it on the line. And maybe you can kind of drop a box from the ceiling and put a track light or something, or just don't put drop a box, just put a track light wherein, and put a ceiling which is dark color and the very bright spotlights on the merchandise, so that the people don't look at the top, and your entire whatever the merchandise is there on the wall looks fantastic. Center, you can just go ahead and put two aisle maybe, and the gondolas in the middle. Somewhere you want to put somewhere you want to kind of break the monotony and highlight that, or kind of emphasize that space, you can just go ahead and make some a platform or something, couple of mannequins there, and if you're highlighting, in case in the retail, if you're talking about the clothing store, okay, so you can just
Okay.
if it is not clothing store, if it is something else, you can just go ahead and put something which is displaying the stuff. Okay, if it is a kid store, again you can just go ahead and put and decorate some different kind of a display stand wherein you have a display stuff put there. It is pretty simple. I have done so many Provoke stores pan India, and then I stopped doing Provoke stores, and I was part of Pocket stores also. Pocket was also one of the brand from Mumbai. It used to have those defected pieces they used to sell at a lesser price, but people never used to. It was not defected, but some of the stuff which gets rejected from the export. So like Tommy and these kind of Nike, Adidas, this kind of brands. So they used to put all these brands under that. That
Okay,
is how.
so means in these type of spaces we have to play with lights or
Sorry.
other material. In these type of spaces we have to play with lights and materials, right?
Yeah, you have to play with the light and material. Light is very important, because you want your walk-ins as in whoever is walking in the store should focus on the merchandise. That is where you win the game.
Okay.
If they are busy looking at the interiors, then the merchandise, your customer is gonna lose it, right? So
Because
it
sir
is.
uh because we got less space in retail stores, so we
Yes,
have to utilize that also. But
absolutely,
generally
absolutely. You
an
get a
architect or
very
a
big space.
designer, huh, but nowadays people waste the space by doing paneling and all, so that is very bad,
So
I
here,
think.
what your first question to the customer should be, that what are the ranges that you are putting? Let's say suppose if it is a jeans store, and with the jeans he is putting some of the jackets and the t-shirt, right? So three kind of a stuff is what he is putting. And I'm telling because I've just recently done one store that way. And then if he is putting some overcoats or something of that sort, so you have 3 to 4 uh, uh, a set of merchandises, or the kind of ranges, what you call it as, and then you can just go ahead and divide the store and put that particular thing there. And you, if it is a more kind of a merchandise, then you can just go ahead and put more hangers. But if it is a less merchandise, then you can just go ahead and put it more on the pile stuff and make it look good in a display. If it is a fabric, I don't know what retail store you're. If it is a
Sir,
clothing
I'm talking about that apparel store because it has
apparel
lots
store.
of gondolas. So that's
Yeah.
what.
So gondolas also, if it is a tight space, you need to very carefully design gondolas. You cannot just go ahead and use those bulky, the platform one gondolas, and then just
Because
go
we
ahead and
cannot keep that gondolas in irregular shape, that is rectangular or square in shape.
yeah, perfect, perfect. So I don't know if it is some brand which is like a if you are doing some brand who has already stores, then they'll have a specific design of a gondolas with them. They don't want to change it. But if it is something which is a new coming up, then you can just go ahead and design based on their requirement.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys, and it was a nice session. See you tomorrow. Watch tomorrow morning's video, and we'll catch up again in the evening. Thank you so much for questions, and I hope you all got value out of it. If you have got the value, please go ahead and type into the group. I'm just going to open the group, and you can just go ahead and put your experience of this call, so that other people who are not on the call, they get excited to be there on the calls, and when they ask different questions, we get different kind of answers. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. I've just opened the group. Okay, thank you, guys. Should I go ahead and close the session?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amira. Thank you, Kritika, Rakshita, Abdul, Pooja, Amit Kumar, Prithviraj. Thank you, Prithviraj. I know that you are actually riding back to your home and you have taken time and come on the call. Thank you so much for that. Chandan, Shruti, Preet, Amira, Hemisha, Rakshit, Amulya. Thank you so much for asking questions and see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.